Meine Damen und Herren, herzlich willkommen auf dem Flughafen London Heathrow. Bitte bleiben Sie zu Ihrer eigenen Sicherheit und gemeinsam mit uns jetzt noch so lange angeschnallt sitzen, bis wir die endgültige Parkposition erreicht haben und auch
His Majesty is King, and we, the old nobility, wish to do all we can to support and advise him, don't we? We are loyal to His Majesty the King, are we not? Perhaps a little more reassurance. I think a shout of God save the King, my friends, let me hear you.
God save the King!
That's so much better.
And courtly love is abundant. It does not always mean that things will progress. It is a skill, it is a game. And the King's own affections, even during this 20-year period of marriage to our Queen, have often been caught his attention.
Well to see you here, and do rise, for truly, though I am King of all England, in your presence I am but an humble servant.
Your Grace, your words are very pretty and flattering, but I do not believe them.
They are naught compared to your beauty. You'll learn.
That is as much freedom as I am willing to give to a man who is already married, Your Grace. I will never be a mistress.
Wow.
No! I assure you, there is none brighter. She is like all the stars of the firmament, a jewel shining bright. Nay, she is like the purest white hart darting through the forest, for she will not be caught so easily. She says she will not be a mistress.
Walk swiftly into the chamber and be ready for the King. Stand by your chairs. Make haste, my friends. Make haste.
And protect each and every one of you. And I prithee, enjoy the rest of your day at my palace.
Yes. Dappies.
It's clean. Can you come and stand here? Come and stand here.
go in, I'll explain a bit about some of the history of it, a little bit about the layout of the mine. Well, this is called the George and Charlotte mine, named after George III and Queen Charlotte when they were on the throne. And the mine was in operation from the early 1700s. And the first mention of a mine here is a lease from 1718. So it was in operation from then up until 1868, mainly as a copper mine. There was a little bit of arsenic from here was sold in the last couple of years that it was open, but it was mainly mined for copper. When you find copper, and a lot of other metals as well, when you find them underground, they're normally in a vertical or almost vertical stripe running down through the ground, like a slice down through the ground, which is what we call a lode, L-O-D-E. Now, to get into that lode, bring out as much of the copper ore as they could, over the time that the mine was open, they've dug several tunnels that follow the lode into the hill. Well, tunnels that go across in a mine, like the one we're about to go into, are called levels. And this mine's got 8 different levels, another 3 up above this one, further up in the hill, and then 4 more down below here. So 8 levels, 8 horizontal tunnels that go into the hill at different heights. Now, as well as those levels, the other main type of tunnel that you get are shafts. That's tunnels that go straight up or straight down. And there's the top of one of those shafts just here. Now, this one is called footway shaft, and that was used for access into some of the lower levels of the mine. Would have had ladders zigzagging their way down there so that people could climb down into some of the lower levels. Some of those tunnels down there, as well as going into the hill the way that we're going, they also followed the lode in the other direction, kind of out behind where I am, underneath the River Tamar, over towards the Cornish bank. Of course, we're right on the border, River Tamar being the border. We've got Devon this side and Cornwall the other side. Possibly England this side and Cornwall the other side. All depends on whereabouts you're from. So that's a little bit about where the bits of the mine are, a little bit about the history of it. As we go through the mine, we'll make a few different stops. I'll explain some bits and pieces about the mining that was going on. But if anybody's got any questions anytime, or you want to know a bit more about anything, feel free to ask us questions whenever you like. Nowadays completely flooded, completely full of water. When they were working down there, they had to have a way of getting water up and out of the mine. So what they do is they dig a shaft straight down to the bottom of the mine. Inside that shaft would be a series of pumps that would gradually lift the water up. They'd be powering the pumps using a water wheel like this one. In the middle of the wheel up here is a crank with a chain attached to it. This chain that comes off over my head will be attached onto the pumps. When the wheel turns, it moves that chain backwards and forwards. So that was pulling and then releasing the pumps, getting them working, getting them lifting the water out. The chain that goes towards the back of the train is attached onto a piece of wood with a weight on the end of it, called a balance bar. And that was there because you had all the weight of the pumps over this side of the wheel. They had to put some weight the other side, balance it out so that the wheel can turn properly. So if I switch this on, it lets some water in from the surface onto the top of the wheel. That starts to fill up compartments or buckets around the outside, starts to push the wheel around. So that's the sort of real area. It looks very different to how we see it now. would have had a lot of mines along both sides of the river. Lots of the trees would have been cut down so that they could use the timber and make space for things. There'd be lots of boats going backwards and forwards along the river. Then next to the river you'd have busy quaysides where they were loading and unloading things. I mean, not just at Morwellham, although that was the biggest of the...
Thanks for letting me concentrate on the water. Excuse me? Tell me to do it, then I just drop my foot on the floor.
Don't blame me for your mistakes. Come on.
Hopscotch for you.
Missed.
Close.
Just watch this. Close. Even closer.
You need oiling. Faster.
That's it.
Faster.
You can try it now. Oh.
Is that it?
That's it.
Make it do something exciting. It doesn't have quite the same thing as the Titanic.
Isn't it? That's it.
Already was done.
Pretty colour.
Oh, there's a pheasant in there.
Mm-hmm.
It says that they brought these pebbles up from the beach, the people, when they made the town. This is fantastic without a million tourists. Pasty chips and salad.
Uh-huh.
I've just whacked my knuckle. To the bed song.
And like I said, it's just the dirty water that sits in showers. Yeah. So the light inside will have a bit of water inside. Press it and twice until you see the red R2, and that tells you how full it is. And then all you do is just drive over a drain, empty it. Cool. Okay, so I can tick that off.
And then we go across to Bali.
Oh, lovely. So no time in Australia?
Well, I've been to Australia a few times now anyway.
Yeah.
I love it, honestly.
I don't think it was targeted for bombing, but nevertheless, in November 1940, one bomber came right across the top here and dropped 6 bombs. Now, we don't think he was targeting this place. We think he'd probably become detached from the rest and was making his way home and just dumping them. Or he may have been trying his hand at the station, not sure. But he didn't. You don't think he aimed for this place. One of the bombs landed by the church over the back there. There's a school over near that. Did a lot of damage in the school. Nobody was. It was at night time, so nobody was hurt. Another one landed in their stable yard, where we're going in a minute, underneath that archway under the clock there. It didn't explode. It punched a wet and great hole in the floor, and it was diffused later. The guy was explaining how a bomb machine worked, and the lady said it didn't do it quite like that, much to the amazement of the husband and everybody else around. She said, "What do you know about these?" She said, "I used to work on these up here during the war." They'd both been demobbed in 1946. And the husband said, "I used to work in Hut 6. Can you imagine? Their whole married lives, neither of them had mentioned Park. How long will it take you these days? 30 seconds? Well, this twit mail and everything else you use. A method to break into early standard Enigma messages with some success. But when in 1938 those 2 extra rotors came into being, it stumped him. His system might still have worked, but it was going to be too long-winded to be practically useful. But he wasn't the only person stumped by the introduction of those 2 rotors. There were other people working abroad on Enigma, and they were the Poles. The Poles did all the original groundbreaking work on Enigma. But these chaps weren't analysing language. These 3 men, brilliant young mathematicians, Marian Rejewski, Jerzy Rosecki and Henryk Zygalski. These 3 have worked out a system to break into Enigma. Now they'd got some sheets about as big as this. They'd worked out the positions of holes on these sheets, up to 1,000 holes on each sheet, which they cut with razor blades. 26 sheets to a set, one for each letter of the alphabet. They put them one on top of each other on a glass top table with bright lights underneath. They manoeuvre them, I don't know how it works, they manoeuvre them around until light came through specific holes. It'd identify what they thought might be the starting positions for those 3 rotors. Having got that, they were a long way towards breaking into the message, and they were doing jolly well since 1932. But when in 1938 those 2 extra rotors were introduced, it stumped them. The reason was, whereas initially they needed 6 different sets of 26 sheets, because there were 6 different wheel positions, they now needed 60 different sets of 26 sheets, and it was just too much. They couldn't cope with it. We're talking 1938 now. War is about to start. They knew it, as did other people in this sort of line, and so they realised they probably ought to start sharing knowledge of what they had done and how they had done it with the Allies, who at that time were just the Brits and the French. They therefore called a meeting just outside Warsaw in the Pirie Forest, where they had their cryptography department. Dilly Knox went to the meeting, as did Commander Denniston from the big house. He was the head of this place. Some French cryptographers went as well. I don't know why they think. They're wonderful, aren't they? And that's where the Pole disclosed these sheets, showed them how they worked. Much to the amazement of Dilly Knox and Denniston, who suddenly realised it's mathematicians that were going to break into this stuff, not people necessarily who analysed language. So Knox said to them, let's have a set of your sheets, please. We've got more resources at Bletchley Park than you have, and we're not going to cut the wretched holes with razor blades. We'll have a punch system. So that's what they did. They brought a set back and got to work on them. Now, that time, that's when people like Dilly Knox, Alan Turing, Gordon Welsh, and a host of other mathematicians were recruited. So we got to work on these sheets when they brought them back here. A fellow called Jeffries took them over, so we ended up with what we call the Jeffries sheets. The Poles called theirs Zygalski sheets, after one of the 3. Now, by the end of 1939, Turing and lots of others had been recruited. By December 1939, Alan Turing took a set of our new sheets upon which we had been working back to the French cryptography department in Paris. And that's also, by the way, where the Poles had managed to get. They'd escaped from Poland. They'd been beaten up badly on the way by the Germans, but fortunately the Germans didn't know what it was they knew, or they'd have been shot. Anyway, Turing handed over these new sheets of ours and in effect said, this is what we've done with them, see what you can do with these. So they got to work, and the following month, January 1940, the Poles made the very first break back into Enigma messages. And
in all of their different sections and be inspired by this group of heroic women and men who really came together and saved so many lives. Many people want to work on the edge of innovation. If they were alive in those days, they would have been at Bletchley.
In North Africa, code breakers locate and track enemy units and read enemy plans.
It won't do that. And yet it ran the other one. Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay, thank you very much. Do you know anywhere else around Hull that would possibly take them? Are we in abnormal low? Almost look like clouds on the top of that. Oh. What did you say about frost?
4 degrees.
Looks choppy. So that lady said her boss must have climbed those wire things that go up. Hmm.
Maybe internally.
Yeah, internally. Shop she worked in. Why does it look so dark on the screen? Dave. Oops. We went in there last time, Boises, I think.
I get past.
What?
Bad nectar.
Oh, jeez, Dave. I know, but there's what's the East Park. Yeah. East Park. There's the windmill. Portobello.
Are you ready?
Filming. Hello, beautiful. Hello. Oh, you're a cross one.
We can stop down there and get a better picture.
Filming.
Hang on. Pull it down here.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
See, they camp there. They've got an awning off the van.
Food van. Oh, look.
Yes.
Oh, this is it. Late.
Oops. Uh-oh. Maybe not such a good idea.
It's too dark.
Wonder why the film goes dark. When we're filming, it goes dark. Oh, for goodness sakes. It's not a one-way street, is it?
right on Railway Street, then turn right.
Where's the road? There's the church, look, up there. I wonder if Uncle Harry saw this, if it would mean anything to him.
Turn right on Chapman Gate.
This isn't the right it's telling you to turn. It's got saying up there. We can come back tonight and have a wander around. Oh, I bet. Oh, look at the old graveyard.
Turn left on Market Place, then bear right.
You know what? I don't think we should be driving through Pocklington town centre with the van. Dave. We can walk through it tonight. Dave.
Turn left on New Street.
Farm fresh eggs. Yorkshire Wolds, push bikes. Oh, we're on a push bike track. Oh, look at that, that's beautiful. I'm wondering if this is the actual pastures now, but we've come from a different way. His little head nod. I bet you it is, you know. You know what? I'm sure it is. You must have been up in those trees, Auntie Brenda went down.
In 550 meters, turn right on road, then turn left.
How pretty. How pretty is that? Sliding back, I must think. Shame that van's there.
Where are we? What's that?
Is that window or a car? Onwards and upwards. No, run down. There you are. I wonder if that's that plane again.
Wrong way. It's the plane.
He's going a bit faster than you did before. That's Bob, who's 71.
And owns the KP Golf Club.
Good on him. We should have timed how far we walked.
Don't you want to go to see Paul?
Are you enjoying yourself?
Eh?
Are you enjoying yourself? Sun's out. What a lovely day. Eh? Yes.
Can't you get them planes?
Haven't seen him.
Will you stop that? Because you're now going to delete it.
No, I'm saying this is ideal for 2 people, isn't it?
Oh, for 2, I think this is nicer than the other one, Dave.
So does that pull out, Denise?
Yes, yeah.
Does that pull out further?
You pull it out and that goes flat.
I like this one better.
Look at this. Oh no, don't do it now.
But,
No, it's ideal, isn't it? For what you need, isn't it?
What?
Yeah.
This is a lot better layout.
The flashlights.
Yeah.
All right.
And they're also on the floor as well. There's 4 lights.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know these are so expensive to buy these? Oh, wow, yeah.
Are they?
It's good at night because it's not bright, but you can see.
Oh, you've got
Right, lovely. Where are we?
Just come and sit down. I just said one further. The lamb wolf.
Hello.
Oh, go to that side. Get it from this side with me. Ow. What are you doing? Just take a photo.
Look inside it.
Just take another one.
Okay.
From there to here and back again, a journey ends.
Charge you extra for the privilege of climbing to the top of the Central Tower of Winchester, but if you make it, they give you a certificate. They have to give me oxygen. You see, the scaffolding on the east end of the Minster, they're refurbishing the entire east end. They're just starting to take some down, actually. They've nearly finished the top. This Lloyd's Bank on the left, in 1972, they put a new safe in the cellar as they were excavating for it. They uncovered a Viking toilet, and not surprisingly, in the toilet was some coprolite. Coprolite is fossilised poo.
Which holds 216 imperial gallons of beer.
As you walk down the city, do look up at the buildings, that's where the interest is. Take this rather ornate building on the right. There are 2 ladies up there who are not very happy with today's weather. They're 107 years old and they're not carved out with
in the Grand Old Victorian Technical College. It's the grisly side of York City, recording tales of torture and misery and stories of characters such as Dick Turpin and Guy Fawkes. We move into Tower Street and the Sash Street. Castle Museum, Clifford's Tower, York Boat River Cruises, the Jorvik Viking Centre, York Dungeon, and Viking Tugs.
And the stretch of river between the bridges is the old port area of York. The last commercial vessel was in 1999, but for at least 60 years in the Middle Ages it's believed that York is the busiest port in Europe. Night, but we'll just delayed the second half of the call for the following day. You can imagine how congested it must have been. On the left-hand side, the Trafalgar Bay Public House, there's the pub sign, Battle of Trafalgar 1805, but the pub is actually named after a bay called Racehorse called Trafalgar. It belonged to the then Prince of Wales and went very well at York, so they named a pub after it. Well, granted, the horse was named after the battle, but they still got it wrong, because they thought it was the Battle of Cape Trafalgar. Trafalgar was a headland and not a bay.
As well as the remains of St Leonard's Hospital, which was closed in 1539. The hospital's main function was to care for the sick, the poor, the old and the infirm. I think that's what
unbelievable.
Didn't ask me for a number or anything.
I know. You're not joining them tonight?
I've got it mastered. I've got it mastered.
I can see that. Enjoying yourself, dear?
Yeah, sort of.
What are you coming in for?
Just having a get my feet adjusted.
What's wrong with your feet?
Feels different than yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
If you want to take a photograph, come and take it with the hat on, then I can see if I like it. Listen, if you want to take a photograph, come and take it with the hat on, then I can see if I like it. Yes or no?
Including veteran and vintage motors, sports and racing cars, and commercial vehicles. On the upper floor, the motorcycle story takes you on a journey through motorcycling history. The Abbey was purchased by Lord Montagu's ancestor, the Earl of Southampton, in the early 16th century. It now houses a fascinating exhibition of monastic life and an audio-visual. We are now passing through the monorail sidings. On the stretch of track beside the monorail,
Yeah. Seriously uncool.
Yeah.
That looks like a moggy on the top one.
Probably.
Is it? On the
David,
top in the
David.
middle?
Good afternoon.
welcome to the building. You leave.
fun putting a catch on a kettle or saucepan. Garage owners could turn their hand towards anything, and often have a hire car available for formal occasions, but not on hire reserved for taxi. Many country garages, when a local person make moves into town or to the station.
Brother lives in Australia.
Right.
And he now has 13 grandchildren.
Oh, poor man. I've got 2 and that's too many.
We've got 3 and the brother in Canada got 2.
Right.
One in Australia's got 13.
Oh.
They're doing well over there. Yeah. My grandmother's family went to Australia and New Zealand and they all had huge.
Yeah.
Oh yes, David. You've got
Very
a squeak.
Nice. Very nice.
And the fireplace then obviously is the 1870 side, so you've got the old and the new, if you like. So if you want to follow me when you've done your... Yeah,
So just go and read it.
Yeah, that's fine. Of another estate, the family owned, but it was requisitioned in the First World War, so it did save the furniture. And you can see all the knife marks, and somebody was talking Downton Abbey. This is where the servants would have eaten from, on this sort of table. You can come back later.
From one elm or something?
Yes, one tree. Elm is a beautiful Thomas Wriothesley. He's the first Earl of Southampton. I don't suppose you watched Wolf Hall by any chance?
No, I didn't see it.
Well, anyway, the reason he appeared quite strongly in that, he was the right-hand man of Thomas Cromwell. He did eventually become Lord Chancellor, but he worked very closely with Cromwell. And of course, part of his duties was to go around and put a value on the estates that Henry was acquiring from the monasteries, the abbeys. So he put a value on this property.
It did, but she's won.
What did you do before you left them?
Let me just check. We're worrying for Howard and she said that.
One up the stairs.
One up the stairs with the house in the background.
Service in World War II in the Pacific areas. They have in a longer range and endurance than the existing Royal Naval submarines of the day. World War II finished before any of the A-class were actually in commission, so none of the torpedo would be in the tube, ready to be fired, and then the tube would be flooded with seawater, the bow cap, the front door would be opened, and then high pressure air into the system there. The whole of the compartment would be shuddering and shaking, of course, and off went the torpedo on its way. Hinged up, and they were bunks as well. I think there's 13 bunks in here. And this is done as it would be when the boat was first built in 1947, when it was coming.
So again, what do you call that game?
Hookers.
Hookers.
Mixie block, yeah! This is like a sailor's version of Ludo.
Exactly.
My dad used to talk about that.
Okay.
Not you, right? Bastard on a pressure gauge last night with that heavy sleep.
Stand by, ditching gas.
They're venting the sewage tank. Fine time for that. Oh.
He used to talk about, Mum went up to Scotland with him, he was up there, and I can't remember if it was a ship or a son.
This is the control room.
Is that to the forward escape hatch?
No, that's up to the bridge, up to the top of the conning tower.
All right.
And as you can see there, sir, the periscopes, they did have another couple of feet that they could raise them a little bit further there, to answer your question. Are we all in? Right. Being controlled when the boat was on the surface. In the corner here, that's the chair here, that was the helmsman's position, and he would steer the submarine from there using the tapper bars, rudder indicator, the telegraphs for sending signals to the motor room and the engine room, and the chrome pipe there, by his left ears he was sat there, that went all the way up to the bridge, where the officer of the watch could shout down his orders, and all would be ready to surface the submarine when required. And that was done by opening these valves here, and these allowed high pressure air into the ballast tanks, which expelled the seawater through the free flood holes at the bottom of the tanks, and the submarine, becoming lighter, would then come to the surface. And then we'll go through the scenario of the attack taking part on the submarine. So we'll hear the officer of the watch calling down that he sights the enemy.
steer 350. 10 degrees of starboard wheel on, sir.
Very good. Captain, sir. Warship bearing green 30, range 4,000 yards.
Officer of the watch, dive the submarine.
Control room, press the klaxon twice.
Main vents open.
Main vents open.
Midships. Wheel and midship. Coxswain on the helm.
Down to 70 feet, back to 55.
25 feet.
We don't want to show anything on the surface.
Officer of the watch in the tower.
Open shot, 1 clip.
Open shot, 1 clip. 90 feet.
Open shot, 2 clips.
Shut 2 clips. All masts.
Open shot, 2 clips, 1 pin.
Open shut, 2 clips, 35 feet.
Open shot, 2 clips, 2 pins.
Open shut, 2 clips, 2 pins. 40 feet.
All masts down. Officer of the watch, below. Below ends closed up at diving station.
Low Q, 45 feet. 50 feet.
Q blown, Q Kingston shut.
55 feet. Vent.
Accommodation space closed up at diving
60
station.
feet.
Engine room closed up at diving
65
station.
feet.
Q vented, Q vent shut.
70 feet.
Closed up at diving stations.
65 feet.
The submarine is closed up at diving
60
station.
feet.
Thank you.
55 feet. On deck, 55 feet.
Shut main vents.
Shut main vents.
Raise attack periscope. Speed for trimming.
Main vent shut.
Speed for trimming, sir. Group down, half a head together.
Enemy warship now at range of 3,000 yards coming towards. Intend going deep and evading in case he depth charges us. All compartments shut off for counter-attack.
Happy with the trim, sir.
10 down. Keep 500 feet. Assume ultra-quiet state.
$100 feet.
The submarine is in the ultra-quiet state, sir.
Roger, First Lieutenant. Sonar, what have you got on the contact?
Just closed, 518. 180 revolutions per minute. Approximate speed 50. Just coming straight for us, sir.
350 feet.
George is out of drop.
400 feet. 500 feet. On deck, 500 feet.
Officer of the watch, sound room.
Генеральный секретарь Центрального комитета председатель Президиума Верховного Совета.
Well, that was an addition, but hardly ever used as. I don't. Well, that's right. Yeah. I think you just, if you had the water to spare, you took it in with you. I don't think it was fitted as. Right, as you can see then, this is the engine room, the main diesel engines, built by Vickers, who designed and built the submarine, of course. And these could drive the boat along on the surface at 19 knots, which is in excess of about 23 miles an hour. And these, what are called the rocker arms, they literally did rock like that. And the noise in here was so so bad you couldn't.
Group down, slow ahead together.
Another part of the fun. This is called the motor room. This is where everything electric on the submarine was controlled from. And underneath the switchboards are the main motors which drove the submarine when diving.
Group up.
You can't actually see them. They're all covered over. So the drive shaft here, this was hollow, which drove the propellers, because it also doubled as the exhaust. So the exhaust went out through the drive shaft and came out into the sea just after the propellers there.
So what happens when they run out of torpedoes?
Normally, because there'd be a few tons of water pressure keeping the hatch shut, so they had to get the pressure inside the compartment the same as it was outside. They had to equalise the pressure. The only way
occasionally it pressed up in this diagram, so it's in blocks rather than.
We're off. Now, if you think it's cramped and noisy now, imagine what it's like to be packed in here like sardines with 25 hot, sweaty infantry there. You can hardly breathe with all them fumes, and you'll be thrown around the whole time as the tank moves over the bumpy ground. Our tanks didn't have no suspension in 1918, see? So, if you weren't careful, you could even get knocked unconscious.
headed down on gliders.
Yeah, if you just shuffle along up towards where Jade is.
I was going to say to your husband, I'll tell you about the wonderful people that come here. Yeah. Right? I've got a bag there that I'm going to deliver to Lady Shackleton at 4 o'clock. The Explorer's daughter. Yeah. And that guy that just walked in a moment ago, his father-in-law is the 170th British guy in England. Wow. Is he?
I'm going to meet that. So I gave him 200 quid. And set off, and I thought, I'll just check, because he wrote his address, he wrote his phone number, his home number, his partner's number. Anyway, I drove along, I thought, I'll just check where I'm going on the map again. And I thought, oh,
Maybe they drove up this way, towards this way, in that car and said, that's it.
Good morning. What? Hello? Come and say hello. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Who's a beautiful girl? Are you a beautiful girl? Hey? Yes, you are. Okay. She cares. Look, yes, I'm sorry, I've got nothing for you to eat.
And what's up there? All the food.
Where's that butter gone?
Up here.
Where?
Melting.
Melting.
There.
Toes. Put that down.
Okay.
Maybe all the rain we have over here.
X95.
Where? Hello. Hey.
turn left on Elmfield.
Is.
Let's bring some bread down.
Hiya. Hello, Mummy. What do you want? Was that low or was that low?
You get it?
I think I missed the beginning.
What's this?
Oh. What is it?
Salt.
I thought it was supposed to be grit.
That's nice. It's grit salt for lunch. Was that fun?
Take 6 exit to